aren't born out of laying around on their asses. We're the dominant species. We built all this. We're powerful, and we're beautiful, and we're ready to build the next level of civilization in God's plan. If you love God and you want to build a pro-human future, you must become the victor. But you have to believe in yourself first. This is the truth, and everyone knows it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about this video from MoistCritical called Delusional Healthcare CEO. Now, there is so much wrong in this video, and it breaks my heart to watch the erosion of any sort of semblance of a civil society that we used to live in, because a healthcare CEO was gunned down in public. And you would think, no matter what you think of the healthcare system, no matter what you think of these companies, I would imagine that people would have the sense to say, okay, well, the CEO didn't create the system, they didn't design the system, they're not solely responsible, there are entire boards of people that, regulate this stuff. It's government oversight combined with all this other stuff. But you want to put the blame on one man because you're an idiot and because you don't really have the mental capacity to understand that this isn't a one-person problem. Not to mention the fact that this guy had a family and he was gunned down in cold blood. It wasn't the case where this guy was, running into hospitals and trying to pull the IVs out of people who were dying. And there's so much wrong with this video, and I want to show this to you because you may think that I'm being hyperbolic. You may think that I'm being a little bit over the top, but I want you to listen to the tone and tactic of MoistCritical here and just realize how insane it is. We have gotten to the point where streamers are either like Hassan, where they're supporting terrorists, or they're like MoistCritical, where they are tacitly downplaying and obfuscating the public assassination of a person who was doing their job. Now, we have to go through this because I could do an entire monologue, could take 10 minutes how irritated I am at this. But before we get into this, let me just say, I don't love the healthcare system in America either. I think there should be reforms and change too. But I'm not so stupid as to think that gunning down an innocent person, this guy didn't break any laws. This guy wasn't a criminal. This guy wasn't somebody that was out there depriving people of the right to life. He wasn't. He just wasn't. It wasn't one lone man who was gonna take the needle out of people's arms to, that could have saved them. No. It's a system that needs change. It's a system that needs to be revamped. Absolutely. I am 100% in agreement on that. But this guy's not a hero. He's not an anti-hero. He's a criminal. He's a piece of garbage who deprived a father of a daughter and a wife. This guy was killed in cold blood over something that most likely wasn't even his fault. A CEO is not the ultimate be-all and end-all at these companies. There are boards of directors. They can fire CEOs. They can bring in another CEO. So to put all the blame on this one person and to say he's an evil person that you don't even know because you have issues with the healthcare system is fucking insane. You are insane if you are downplaying what happened to this guy, as MoistCritical does in this video.
Talked about tons of evil companies and industries over the years, but the one I want to talk about today makes Umbrella Corp from Resident Evil look like Weenie Hut Jr. Health insurance.
Oh my god. Makes the Umbrella Corp. So, for those who don't understand the Resident Evil reference, I can't even engage with that. Let's just move past that. Already we're off to a bad start. That's a preposterously retarded statement.
Now, I've ranted and raved about health insurance on stream quite a few times, way before the big thing that happened recently. And I'll just be clear up front that I'm not here to talk too much about Brian Thompson getting banished to the Shadow Realm. I'm here to talk mainly about health insurance itself and how...
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to keep my composure here. I'm trying to do my level best to be reasonable in this situation. A man was assassinated in cold blood. Moist Critical here says, I'm not really going to talk about that. I'm not really going to talk about this guy getting sent to the Shadow Realm. No, he was murdered by a psychopath in cold blood. This CEO, he wasn't armed, he wasn't threatening people, he wasn't doing anything other than walking down the street, and some person ended his life, shot him in the back. And the way that it's regarded is, oh, we're not even really going to talk about it. This guy was sent to the Shadow Realm, using a goddamn Yu-Gi-Oh reference. I just gotta say that on the list of reasons why I absolutely despise these streamers, they have a kindergarten mentality. He's using SpongeBob and Yu-Gi-Oh references to talk about a man who was ended in cold blood. And you can have reasons why you don't like a company. You can have reasons why you vehemently despise what a company is doing. Like, for example, you could have a disagreement. I'll give you an example. There was a massive boycott and pushback against Bud Light for their support and endorsement and campaign with Dylan Mulvaney because it was, in the minds of many people, an endorsement of the radical, deranged trans ideology, which many people think is a threat. Not only to the lives of the people that are being pushed into this, but also the fact that it's an assembly line where you're getting these people in early and basically putting them through this lifelong, agonizing, miserable existence where you are sterilized, you are prevented from having a family, and ultimately, when these people grow out of it, and they grow out of it at an alarming rate, they're left realizing, I've just mutilated my body and deprived myself of my future. That's a pretty evil, despicable, unconscionable thing to do, and the medical industry is making so much money hand over fist on this. You could have a legitimate reason to be against that. Do you know what you do not get to do? You do not get to go to the hospital where they're performing these and start making vigilante decisions to start gunning people down because you think you have some moral high ground. Like, you may be in the moral high ground. You may be in the correct position. You do not get to go and enact that, no matter how vengeful or how right or how justified you think it is. So whether it's something I agree with or something that I disagree with, whether it's something that I want to change or keep the same, my principle is the same. You do not get to glorify or champion or big up somebody that does something like this. And if you're going to talk about it, for the love of all that is good, do not bring in this sort of juvenile, oh, he was banished to the Shadow Realm. No, a sick, deranged, twisted person ended this guy's life. And do you know why? Do you know why I'm so vociferous on this? Is it because I knew this CEO? No, I've never heard of him before. Is it because I want to defend companies like insurance companies? No, hell no. It's because in order for us to be a civil society, there has to be some ground rules that we can all agree on. And one of the ground rules that has existed for a long time is you don't glorify or champion assassinations against people for things that you may disagree with. That is not a game that you want to get into or start to downplay. And that's exactly what Moist Critical is doing. And it's something that streamers do all the time. Hassan does it. Hassan does it all the time. And I've had enough of it. And we're going to watch more of it. Don't worry. Don't worry. Because some people will inevitably think I'm overreacting, that this is an overreaction, but it's not. Because we haven't even gotten to the worst part yet.
Corrupt and malicious it is, as well as the United Health Group CEO Andrew Whitty's video that he made about the response to this whole thing. So to be clear, Brian Thompson was the CEO of United's insurance division. Andrew Whitty is the CEO of United Health Group.
I'm sure everybody has been disturbed by the amount of negative and in many cases vitriolic media and commentary that has been produced over the last few days, particularly in the social media environment.
Yeah, mean words are so much more disturbing than an entire business model that revolves around making oodles of cash off the corpses of your clients as you knowingly deny coverage for life-saving medical treatment for those individuals that have been paying you for so long for the single purpose of you stepping in to help in an emergency situation.
I don't even necessarily disagree with this, but I mean, we're talking about a situation where somebody executed a CEO, a man who was just walking down the street. And Moist Critical is indignant because this guy is taking issue with that. How dare you have an issue? Hey guys, Moist Critical here. How dare you have an issue with a CEO of a health insurance company being executed and murdered? And by the way, the characterization is really fascinating here. Not all of these insurance claims are having to do with life-altering or life-threatening injuries. Like, there are so many different claims and reports. And again, Moist Critical's radical attitude is putting me in a position where I have to defend the goddamn insurance companies. His extremism, his radicalism is putting me in this position because the fact of the matter is that he is going so far overboard that I find myself in between the insurance company and him. And that's not where I want to be. I don't want to be defending insurance companies, for the love of God. No. But the fact is, if you are a sane, rational, reasonable person, you understand that it's not the responsibility of one person. And if you are excusing or downplaying or obfuscating the death of somebody who had a family, because you're irritated at the system, if you're this passionate that you're willing to basically tacitly endorse murder, say, well, it's not really that bad because it happened to the CEO. If you're that passionate, why are you out there every day talking about this issue? And you're not. I know that's a common code. Well, I talk about this all the time. No, you don't. Why aren't you out there trying to lobby legislation and make some drastic changes? Why aren't you out there actually trying to do something? If you are so passionate about this that you are willing to tacitly endorse murder, and that's exactly what we've seen here, is it not? Like, if somebody were to get shot, and I were to downplay it to this degree, I would get excoriated. Like, it's baffling to me. Because I thought that there was a common parlance, that there was a bit of a common ground. No, you don't just get to kill people. And yes, it's a big deal. And yes, it's wrong. Two things can be true at the same time. But the fact is that by this guy doing it, it actually undermines the very real and legitimate criticisms against the insurance company, because the people that I would say, oh, I'm in agreement with, I have issues with health insurance too. Those people are out there killing CEOs. And they're not only doing that, but then trying to cover it up. Oh, he was sent to the shadow realm. Oh man, this guy's so evil. And mischaracterizing the entire situation and trying to say, oh, all health denied claims are people that were on life-saving, they were on bed care, and these CEO companies pulled them out. I don't like these companies either. But even I'm aware of the fact that a lot of these denied claims are valid. A lot of them are. Now, I may not like the reasons why they're valid, but according to the government currently and according to the companies, they're able to do it because the legislation and because the regulations in the state or the federal regulations say that they can. If you want to change that, If you want to change that, there are ways to do it. But gunning down a CEO makes no sense to me. It is unacceptable to go out, because this company, yeah, you gun down the CEO. You really think they're going to change fundamentally? You really think that's going to change? Or do you think it's going to actually make them worse? Just unreal.
Then when that unfortunate time arises, it's just crickets and radio silence, and then like a giant stamp of denied from United. Here's a nice little graph that helps showcase how efficient these health insurance providers have become at denying your claims. And United Healthcare, they got it down to a science. They are way out in front. They got the gold medal with 33% denied claims.
Yeah, that sucks. Undeniably, that sucks. Yeah. However, here's the misleading nature of what he's doing. He's saying health insurance claim denial rates, 33%. Okay. So about a third of claims are denied. What percentage of these denials are life-saving care, for example? Like, what percentage of the 33% are people that had to have some, like, profound surgery, but it wasn't covered? As opposed to, like, elective surgeries or other things that it was denied for a reason that we could look at and make a determination whether it was good or bad. This seems to be raw data, at least from what I've seen, and it doesn't really explain anything. It doesn't really break anything down. But this is what Most Critical is using to make the determination that it was okay. What happened here because of how bad this company is. That is insanity. That to use this chart, like, does he throughout the video, does he show more? Oh, there's another chart. Total revenue. Okay, all right, let's continue.
Percent denied claims. To put that into Fortnite terms, United is grittying to a...
Why the fuck would you put that in Fortnite terms? Like, do you understand that you do more damage to the topic that you're talking about when you basically reveal that you're making it for baby-brained imbeciles? You don't need to make SpongeBob references or Yu-Gi-Oh references or, oh, man, yeah, they went to the Shadow Realm. You can actually have an intelligent conversation. I realize that talking like an adult to your audience of people who are obviously young, because if you're older, you're not going to talk like this. But it's got to be some combination of people who are young and then people who just, crashed out of life. People, these potheads, losers who failed high school. But why on earth would you treat a topic like this so casually? I just don't get it. Somebody was killed. He was assassinated in public, gunned down, shot in the back. And the tone here, and don't think that I'm picking on Charlie in particular. I've seen so many people make light of this. This guy was gunned down in public. And but that's okay. Is that okay? Is that where we are now? Where if you think you have a moral cause, somebody who hasn't actually broken the law, instead of doing something to change the law, instead of gathering together to make a constructive and positive change, you have this emotional outburst where you kill somebody, and that is ultimately the correct thing to do, right? Is that where we are? I think that's a disaster, to be honest.
A fucking winner chicken dinner Dubsky as you and your loved ones are dying. It's no surprise why people hate health insurance. It's not a political issue like a lot of people are trying to make it. You can see some of the usual suspects on YouTube saying things like, oh, the lefties are celebrating the death of this healthcare CEO, an innocent man just looking to put food on the table for his families. And if
No, see, that's what the media does to lie. they'll put in an element of truth and then they'll extend it out to be something ridiculous, and so they can basically tear down the straw man. Yeah, people like you, who are deranged freaks in this case, are downplaying the assassination, the public assassination of somebody to such a degree that, yeah, it looks bananas. It looks batshit. It looks weird. Why? Like, I disagree with the healthcare system as well. We could find common ground on that. But I'm not finding common ground with somebody who is this far gone mentally. Who thinks, oh no, I'm gonna talk about this very serious situation and use baby brain imbecile terms, like cartoon terms for kids. And I'm basically going to then mischaracterize the people that are critical by saying that, oh, this guy was just trying to put food on his table. No, I'm not saying that this guy was a good guy. I don't know him. I don't know what he was like. The guy had a family. I can empathize with that on some level. But the fact is, I don't know this guy. I don't like insurance companies, but you know what? I don't like you. I don't like the flippant way in which you're treating this topic. I think this is serious. I think this is damn scary. Where you could be walking down the street and some freak just comes along and pops you, shoots you in the back. Thank God this guy wasn't with his family or anything. But I think that's wrong. I think that's bad. I don't think there's any reason why this should be turned into, oh, this guy's actually a hero. No, he's a monster. And I hope when they catch him, and I hope they find the right guy, I hope they throw the book at him. Because it's not about the CEO at this point. It's not about the health insurance topic. Because we agree that there are some drastic changes that needs to happen. Drastic changes. The cost of healthcare is way too much. We agree on that. We agree that there is something just wrong. And not just about health insurance, about auto insurance, home insurance. Yeah, there should be some corrections, some changes to basically give more power to the consumer, to you. But I don't think that has anything to do with this topic, where you have a CEO that's coming out and saying, yeah, there's been some really negative shit going on, and it's actually really alarming how many people are saying, yeah, the CEO deserved to die. I mean, if you believe the CEO deserved to be gunned down in public, assassinated in cold blood, shot in the back, you are insane.
If you look at the comments, it doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, everyone has been fucked equally by health insurance.
Yes.
They are the Thanos level threat to human beings' survival. Everybody knows somebody, and you may even be the victim yourself, that has been denied by their health insurance provider.
Yeah, it sucks.
The whole purpose of the health insurance business model is you pay them for a long period of time to do a single task for you, which is help in an emergency situation.
Right.
And their goal is to find ways out of doing that task you pay them for. To fuck you in the face.
Yes.
Literally just let people croak because they don't want to pay the money to cover those procedures.
It is
that
a
save
for-profit business.
They make money off normal people dying.
Yes.
And normal people are paying them for the service. It is so fucked up.
Yeah, we agree. We agree on that. What on earth does that have to do with assassinating a CEO in public? What does that have to do with some person going rogue and choosing to end the life of another human being? Nothing.
To reassure you of a few things. Firstly, we are going to continue to make sure that we put patients, consumers, and members first, as we always have done.
What? Pardon? I must not have heard him right. There's no way Mr. Krabs just tried to sit there with a straight face looking like my wrinkled nutsack, saying that United has always put members, consumers, and patients first. What?
Yeah, it's a PR statement. It's pretty common. I don't agree with it, but Most Critical, are you finding out for the first time that, corporations have PR statements and teams that advise them on what to say publicly? Like, are you expecting this guy to go off the cuff and be honest? He's a CEO. Like, Elon Musk is a rarity. Most CEOs don't just speak casually and normally. There are businesses to consider. I mean, I don't understand the incredulity here. Yeah, is what he's saying bullshit? Most likely. I don't know this guy. Based on what we've seen from your thing, yeah, the charts don't look good. But then again, that chart didn't really prove shit. Raw data doesn't take into account a lot of different things. That's how narratives are formed, like the gender wage gap and bullshit like that retards latch onto. It's important to go through the data and actually get the details, because sometimes it's not always what it seems. But yeah, I think we can all agree that the health insurance industry really does need to reform. I think we can all agree on that. The difference is that apparently some people have lost their mind and think that because the situation is bad, that it warrants or excuses people acting in a way that's bad. These people are doing things based on a dollars and cents perspective. That doesn't mean that you get somebody to take the law or take justice into their own hands and do what this guy did. These two things are completely separate.
I mean, maybe he meant like putting them first in the ground after they deny the life-saving medical treatment that they were looking for. Maybe that's what he meant. I'm not entirely sure, but there's no way he actually tried to say that United puts the patients first, right? There's no way. I mean, you could just look at the data. 33% of all claims being denied? Like, in what universe does he think anyone's going to believe that? Everybody has been affected by this. It's not like this is some big secret. Everyone knows how fucking foul the health insurance industry is, and United is the worst offender. Like, here, I'll give you actual footage of the United CEO anytime one of its clients die after a denied claim. Man, I just broke that. Man, look what you made me do, Andrew. Look what you made me do.
The mission of this company is truly to make sure that we help the system improve by helping the experience for individuals get better and better.
Mission failed then, Andrew, in the biggest possible way. And the response that you're seeing to all this should be a pretty clear indication that every single human being on the planet that has been cursed with United health insurance coverage feels that the experience has only gotten worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse as you have made more and more and more and more and more and more doubloons off of denying claims. Hey, real quick, Andrew, can you go ahead and put on your reading glasses and take a peek at this for me? Look at this chart and tell me exactly whose experience has been getting better? Because it's not the normal American that has to have health insurance. It seems more like it might just be United Health Group itself. I'll quickly take a moment to play in the pigpen and tackle the most brain dead that are trying to justify or defend the health insurance companies. Like, I couldn't imagine anything more pathetic than doing free PR for health insurance of all things, but there are those absolute worms out there doing that in the trenches right now. I see a lot of people making the comparison that a health insurance provider denying a claim is not the same as killing someone. It's fundamentally doing that if someone...
It depends on the situation. But no, there is a validity to that. If somebody doesn't have the money to pay for a super expensive surgery, no, it could absolutely be a death sentence. There's no denying that. There's no denying that the system is completely and totally broken. There's no denying that we need to do more to highlight this. However, the caveat to this entire situation is that you don't get to go around and execute people, and then if somebody does, you don't get to treat them like some kind of hero, or downplay it, or say that they got sent to the shadow realm. or try to make it seem like, well, it's totally understandable why. No, it's not. It's not understandable. There's no justification to go out and end somebody. If you want to make an actual change and win people to your side, you have to change the legislation. You have to make it clear that there is public support for this, and then go through the legal channels to get it done. Which I think Moist Critical could help with tremendously. He knows a lot of streamers, a lot of content creators. There was just that thing with the streamer awards. I thought that was an embarrassing cringe fest with a bunch of narcissistic, degenerate retards. But they could have used it as an opportunity to talk about this. Instead, you had jokes about Dr. Disrespect and other unfunny, just retarded, diatribes. No, I agree with him on the principle of it. My issue with this entire video and his tone is the downplaying of what happened. You can use this as an opportunity to talk about this. But you understand, a CEO was just publicly gunned down. This guy is coming in front of people saying, hey, you know what, we're not that bad, please don't kill us. Basically, that's the PR version of what's happening here. And the fact that Charlie is taking this tone, he's got a huge audience. This has been seen almost 2 million times within a day. You can go watch the full video if you want, but it's just more of that. I agree with him on a fundamental level when it comes to changing the healthcare system, but where I deviate drastically is his characterization of the objection. I don't think there are many people that are defending the healthcare company, or if there are, I don't understand. But my issue is the fact that somebody was gunned down in public. And this is the same sort of issue I had with the left celebrating the near assassination of Donald Trump. They have the same sort of mentality that Moist Critical has here. Well, Trump is an existential threat. Trump is Hitler and Stalin combined into one. The media has said that for years. The media said that he's going to round up gay people and black people and put them in cages, and he's going to do all this other nefarious evil stuff. And so it's understandable that somebody would, take matters into their own hands. I think that is ridiculous. And I oppose that. Just as everyone should oppose that. Yeah, this got me heated. It got me irritated. I agree with the fundamental nature. I agree that the companies need to change. I'm not quite as radical on this as Moist Critical, but I do agree with this principle. But I don't agree with the idea that it is justified or acceptable or good in any way what happened to the CEO. And to downplay it to that degree, I think is severe. I think it's really extreme. I think that video from Charlie is about as extreme as anything I've seen from content creators, with the exception of Hassan. Hassan is usually the most radical. But I mean, the downplaying of this, it doesn't sit right with me. I don't like it. And I don't agree with it. I don't think this guy should have lost his life. I think what you should have done is highlight this issue more and get it in front of legislation. Get it in front of some senators or some congressmen. Get some actual change passed. I think that's the way that you do it. It's a slower process. This guy, say this guy did lose somebody, to the system. I guarantee you, if he did a video saying the healthcare costs are too high, we were just denied, if he had done a video, a TikTok, a Reddit, or whatever, and put out a passionate video talking about the excesses of this industry and the problems that he's seen and what he had to deal with, that would have been 1,000 times more effective than what he did, which is basically to just crash out. And now we're in a position where the topic in and of itself, which should have universal support, doesn't, because we're dealing with a bunch of insane radicals that we may agree with on some things, but now they're going a step beyond and saying, well, it's justified because these CEOs have blood on their hands. These CEOs are out there killing people. It's like, if you believe that, we have fundamental issues, fundamental differences and disagreements. These CEOs, they may be scummy. We don't like them. We don't support them. Doesn't mean you get to go out and end them. I think that should be basic. And up until this point, 5 minutes into this 13-minute video, Moist Critical hasn't condemned what this guy did. In fact, Moist Critical hasn't really even talked about it all that much. And that's what the entire video from the CEO is. This CEO is putting out PR fluff because somebody was just ended. And you have people on the left that are celebrating this and championing, and I don't think it's a good thing. I just don't. Anyway, that'll do it for this video. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. See you next time.